How can a company's biggest win turn into a $500,000 mistake? Sounds wild, right? But it's a trap that so many growing businesses can fall into. Today, we're going to break down exactly how it happened and, more importantly, how you can make sure it doesn't happen to you.
So here's a question for you. One of those good problems to have. Your company is absolutely crushing it, but all the real nitty-gritty knowledge is just locked up in the heads of a few key people. How do you get that wisdom out and scale it up to your new hires without completely burning out your most valuable folks in the process?
So let's dive into a real-world example. We'll call the company Precision Board Electronics. They just landed a total game-changer of a contract, but their first try at training, oh man, it nearly turned that huge win into an absolute disaster. So let's set the scene here. This wasn't a company in trouble, not at all. This was a full-blown crisis born directly out of their own incredible success. Precision Board lands 2 massive new contracts. Awesome, right? But to meet the demand, they have to triple their production lines. That means hiring 12 new technicians and getting them fully trained up in just 6 weeks. 6 weeks. That is a massive challenge. And here's the real kicker. All the actual operational magic, the stuff that's not in any manual, it all lived inside the heads of just 3 people. Dave, Yuki, and Marco. These 3, they were the company's knowledge base, period.
Okay, get ready for this number. The official plan? Have the new hires somehow absorb over 7,000 pages of technical manuals. Can you even imagine that? It's an impossible task. Which meant, of course, that everyone had to lean completely on those 3 experts. And this, right here, is what led them straight into what I call the burnout spiral. The company's grand plan was super simple. Just have the trainees shadow the experts. Sounds good on paper, right? Well, it immediately kicked off a vicious cycle.
And I mean immediately. We're talking just 1 week in. And Dave, their most senior tech, basically goes to his manager and says, look, I can't do both. Either I'm running production or I'm training people. I can't do both jobs well at the same time. He's trying to do his actual work while getting hit with questions from 4 different trainees. The pressure was on from day 1. And you could see the impact on the numbers right away. Production on that main line, it plummeted. We're talking a 40% drop. And it's not because the machines were slower, it's because the experts running them were just constantly being pulled away to answer just one more quick question.
And from there, it was like a snowball effect. The problems just kept piling up. That constant back and forth, that context switching, it led to a really serious quality mistake that they almost missed. The launch of a brand new production line pushed back by 3 weeks. The whole environment just got so stressful that 2 of the new hires, they just up and quit, totally overwhelmed.
So what's the bottom line here? What did this traditional training plan actually cost them? Well, when they added it all up, the lost production, the revenue delays, the quality screw-up, and the cost of hiring again for the 2 people who quit, the total damage was just shy of $500,000. Ouch. Yeah, so clearly that whole approach was a total failure. They had to pivot hard. They needed a brand new strategy, one that was built around a single powerful idea. Get the knowledge out of the experts' heads before the training even starts. So the new plan? It was built on 4 key steps. First, digitize all those 7,000 pages of manuals. Get them searchable. Second, and this is the absolute key, have the experts actually record all that unwritten, on-the-job knowledge. Third, you take all that info and you build self-guided learning paths. And finally, you give every single new hire a tablet so they can get to it, all of it, instantly, right on the production floor. And that unwritten knowledge, it actually has a name. It's called tribal knowledge. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the collection of all the little workarounds, the instincts, the tricks of the trade that experts build up over years and years. It's the stuff that actually makes a complex operation run smoothly. And you know what? It's almost never written down anywhere. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it's Dave recording a quick 30-second video on his phone showing exactly how to tweak a machine to compensate for a feeder track that's a little worn out. Or maybe it's a quick voice note explaining how to adjust the settings when the humidity in the factory drops. This is that priceless wisdom that a manual could never, ever teach you. And by capturing all this amazing knowledge first, they completely flipped the script. The whole training process went from being this chaotic, reactive mess to something that was structured and, well, it was almost like it was running on autopilot. Just look at the difference this made for a guy like Dave. I mean, before, he was spending more than 6 hours a day just getting interrupted. Now, he spends about an hour a day leading 2 super focused 30-minute Q&A sessions. He went from being a firefighter to a mentor. And production? It barely even dipped. Okay, so that's great. A digital library is awesome for answering questions that have been asked before. But here's the real test, right? Can a system like this actually help a brand new employee solve a problem that no one has ever seen before? A problem that isn't in any manual? And the answer was a resounding yes. So one of the trainees runs into this really bizarre error, something nobody had ever documented. But instead of panicking and running to find an expert, she just described what she was seeing into the system on her tablet. The AI then started connecting dots between totally different sources, a maintenance log, a spec sheet, a note from an expert, and it helped her diagnose a super subtle thermal issue and fix it all by herself. But here's the most important part. She then recorded her solution, making the entire knowledge base even smarter for the next person. She didn't just find an answer, she used the AI as a thinking partner. And that breakthrough? That's what reveals the true power of this whole approach. It creates something we can call the knowledge flywheel. Just look at the final numbers here. The old way, it cost the company nearly $500,000. The new AI-powered way, under $30,000. I mean, the difference is just staggering. No more production delays, no quality disasters, and get this, 0 employee turnover this time. And here's what that looks like in terms of actual results. With the old method, by the deadline, they'd only hit 55% of their production goal. Not great. With the new system, they hit 83%. They met their deadlines, and those huge new contracts, they started right on time. And this is that flywheel effect we were talking about. The company's knowledge base isn't just bottled up in 3 people's heads anymore. Now, every single time a trainee solves a new problem or asks a really good question, the collective intelligence of the entire organization gets a little bit stronger. The system literally gets smarter and more valuable with every single use. So, we'll leave you with this question. Precision Board learned the hard way that their most valuable asset wasn't their expensive machinery. It was the tribal knowledge locked inside their experts' heads. So what about your company? Is all of that crucial knowledge safe and scalable? Or is it just one retirement or one person leaving, away from walking right out the door forever?